Good evening, welcome to Bhavya Astro. For all those who are new to the channel, do subscribe and like the video once I'm done with it. Today's topic is about your fourth house of properties. So, who should buy a property, when they should buy a property, what indicates buying a property, and what indicates sale of property. So first of all, we need to understand the fourth house is something which represents your home or else your house. It also represents your mother. Whenever a person is running through a dasha which indicates that the fourth house is somehow connected with the 11th house and also the 12th house at times, then is when it promises purchase of property. Now, what's happening over here? The fourth house is the house where you're going to stay, okay? The 11th house is a house of gains, and the 12th house is a house of investments. So when you buy a property, it's not just going to be gifted to you, you need to invest some kind of money. Then you will have that kind of gain of a house which you're going to stay in. So your fourth house needs to be extremely important in terms of buying a property, not for sale, in terms of buying a property. So when you're buying a property, you need to see, say in the month of March, you plan that you're going to buy a property. You go into your dasha, firstly see, is your dasha promising? Secondly, you need to see in the antardasha or the pratyantar which is going on, is it promising purchase of that property? Say you just have a 4 and 12 combination active. So you are buying this property, but it is not some kind of a gain. It would be a very long term investment because the 12th house is a house for investment. So it's a very, very long time investment which you're doing. But you cannot expect gains from this specific property even when you're trying to sell this property. So it will be okay, fine, you invested this 25-30 lakhs and it's just invested. So when you go to sell it also, maybe you don't get that kind of gains coming out of it. Now, what your transit is indicating, that's a very different thing because that is something which will go ahead and say, it will give it a green signal that yes, they are going to buy a property. Like you have your fourth cuspal sublord active during maybe your transit or as aspecting the fourth house. Or you have Jupiter or Saturn aspecting the fourth house. Now, who will go ahead and build a house? To build a house, you need to have, to construct a house, I would say. You need to have Saturn somewhere present because Saturn is the one who takes care of the construction of properties. The construction work is Saturn. Mars is the one which will decide the immovable property, that's a house, okay? But Saturn is the one that will decide whether you have to construct it or not. So say you have a 4, 11, 12 combination for this specific period when what you're running through, you can go ahead and construct your house. When we buy a house from a builder, we are not the ones who are constructing that house. Something which is more promising, whenever you have the first house, so in any of dashas, antardashas, whenever you have the first house, here we're talking about property, so it's a 1, 6, 11. Sorry, it's a 1, 4, 11. If you're talking about construction, it is 1, 4, 11, 12. So this is an investment also, which will be a long-term gain also, but definitely it will give you gains. Another important thing over here is when to sell the property. What is indicative of sale of property? Now, sale of property means loss of property. It's gain of money, but it's loss of property. Now, whether it's going to be loss of money also, I'll give you both the scenarios. For gains, you see the 11th house connected with any of the aspect which you're talking about, whether it's education, whether it's property, whether it's, finances, whether it's hopes, anything in terms of gains. 11th house, anything in terms of losses, 12th house, anything in terms of investments, 12th house on the chart. So now when you're talking about sale of property, it is very, very important that you have third house activated. Because your third house is 12th from the fourth house, 12th from the property which you have. That is your fourth house. Now gains. Gains would come in when you have the 11th connected with it. So if you're talking about gains, 11 has to be present with that at the time of sale. Okay, this property will go. There is a 3, 4, 11 components. The property will go. But then if the 11 is not there, there's just a 12 connected. Your property will be sold out, but then you will not be able to make that kind of a profit. It may just do for maybe a bare minimum profit. Dashas, the transits play a very, very important role. At times it is seen you need to buy a property, but in the Ashtak Varga, the fourth house is scoring so less that the time came, the time frame came and it went. It just passed away, but you couldn't buy a property. Mars plays a very important role in buying and selling both. Because when you're selling, you see fourth from Mars. So wherever your Mars is sitting, fourth from that is a planet which is responsible for the sale of the property. And also, you need to check this planets at the sublord level. What is the sublord promising? In which star is it sitting? And which houses are activated? So say the fourth sublord is indicating a 412. That means you buy a property which will be for an investment for a long term. On the planetary level, the dasha level, your house, which is shown, is 1, 4, and 11. It will give you gain of property. On a sublord level, it is indicating that the 12th house is also active. So it could give you gains, it could give you losses. It all depends upon that time frame when you will be selling this property. As I always say, for buying a property, make sure you either have your second house direction as the mouth of the house, the door, the main door, not the facing. I'm not talking about the facing over here. I am talking about the main door from which you enter. So you either have your second house direction as an opening if you're working the sixth house direction and the 10th house direction. And yes, for gains, if you're just getting the house of gains, 11th house direction, that will give you overall success. I'm talking about you as an individual. So today we have done when to buy a property, what indicates whether you buy a property, or what is that indicative for sale of property, who could build a house, and also the entrance of your house, what exactly. I emphasize always on the 11th house direction in every specific video for astrology. Why? Because if that's missing, forget your hopes and desires to be fulfilled in that specific property. No matter if it's a mansion you're staying in or it's a huge, huge villa or a palace, without the 11th house blessings, then you will miss on a lot in life. Thank you so much for watching. Do like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.